Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for the last day of daily D&T this week. Hands like okay versus something like Delver. Like I have mana stability, the ability to deny mana, the ability to answer an early creature. I want to keep this, but could just like die to a combo deck or something. Playing against Red Prison and we make it to turn 3 without them playing a Planeswalker, we probably win this one. We're playing against Painter. Well, I'm obligated to try the Swords of Plowshares directly into the Pyroblast here. Yep. As expected. I think I'm going for mana denial here. Wasteland this turn into Thalia the following turn. It's possible that Thalia this turn into Sanctum Prelate the next turn is better. But if the grind... Like a Grindstone getting into play next turn is problematic. And that can happen whether I Thalia or whether I Wasteland. Let's try junking the Ancient Tomb. Seeing what can happen. We do have 4 Revokers to top deck towards. No play makes me think Pyroblast is up. In which case, would I rather get Thalia or Swords of Plowshares Pyroblasted? Probably Swords of Plowshares because I'm going to Prelate on 1 the next turn anyway. Great. I'm going to take that damage as to not give them information about the Swords of Plowshares that's in my hand. Alright, that's a Grindstone. The Dead Painter Servant. Sanctum Prelate. Snaring Bridge may not be good enough right now. Might get a hit on the Karn. God damn it. Now I get Mycosynth Lattice locked. Next turn, it's Chandra plus for mana. And if opponent has a walking ballista in the sideboard, it like ruins me. The snaring bridge in the sideboard is bad enough. I think I need to double creature here and hope that my opponent doesn't have some of the things that I think they should have. So, for example, if my opponent just like minuses and gets a walking ballista for X equals 3, kills these two creatures, I just need to concede here because I can't beat it. I guess that's a thing too, huh? Founder plus for mana, have Painter plus Grindstone. Or City of Trader as well. Alright. Good stuff. I can Sanctum Prelate on 1 to stop that from happening, but then I just get Mycosynth Lattice locked instead. Yeah. I really think I'm getting out of that. Creature cards, correct? Not cards. So the welder stuff still works through that. These are the slam dunks. And Fairy to stop welder shenanigans is playable, but questionable. My opponent does search. I need to keep arbiters. Morsel Cleric is maybe enough graveyard hate that I don't need to bring those in. I have so many things that I need to worry about. I think this loses a lot of utility without the ability to tutor for it. I think Thalia Heretic Cathar is slow. I only have one Ancient Tomb to accelerate it out ahead of time. I'm trimming a land, playing 23 for this match. This is a hand where I'm not excited about what I have, but there's no reasonable way that I could throw it back. Really wanted an opponent to play a creature there. I really need this Vial in play long term, because it's very likely that I need to cast this Council Judgment next turn. So playing my own Thalia here is awkward. And hopefully I get to Source of Plowshare something this turn, then maybe take that Grindstone off the table or something. Lotus Petal into Idiot here. Very bad for me. Lotus Petal into Planeswalker specifically. Not a great draw. I obviously need to disrupt the combo here, or I die. The real question is, like, which one of these do I answer? Probably the Painter Servant, since it enables blasts. I'm relatively soft to a Planeswalker coming down this turn. Especially if it's Karn. Karn shutting off my Vial and meaning that I don't get to put 2 creatures into play next turn, while also Ghost Quartering is huge. Okay. Definitely on board with that. That does mean they now have access to red-red in future turns. That's indicative of Karn. Oh. Sure. Notably, my Caracas is still legendary and has the name Caracas, so it wasn't actively favorable for me. Spell Servant for X equals 1 seems a little questionable to me, but I don't know what their hand is. This is the surprise? Seems like this is the surprise, and I play Thalia this turn. Hmm? Well, this just seems great for me. I trade Remorseful Cleric from Magus and then put Leonin Arbiter in and Ghost Quarter them. Yeah, seems good. Don't think I like that attack from their end. Feels extremely... Oh my god. GG? Yeah, and they've conceded there. Now that I know that they have things like Magus and Stonecoil, Serpent, do I want to change anything about what I've boarded? White cards become slightly worse. Forceful Cleric becomes slightly worse if they have a reach creature. And Flickerwith becomes slightly better. I don't think I get to adjust anything else here. There are some interesting arguments for doing things differently, but I think I'm just going to ship this back. I have a mediocre hand that I'm keeping. It has 2 basic lands. It has the ability to answer a painter. It has Sanctum Prelate for 1 or 4, depending on what scenarios look like. It has a Flicker Wisp to do Flicker Wisp things. This turn's kind of awkward. I don't think this mom gets to attack this game. Yep. Probably just like an Ensnaring Bridge. Wow, just plus? Just plus. Well, that was a good draw. Something like a Walking Ballista tears me apart here. But otherwise, I'm in very good shape. A blast here potentially wins the game for them. Like, they blast whatever I can do and then go off next turn. In the world where they don't have a blast, it's probably best to play Flicker Wisp, Flicker my own land, and Swords to Plowshares the Painter. There's also lines where I just like wasteland them this turn and try to bait the first blast on their turn. That could be better. Because like getting a Flicker Wisp blasted here is pretty rough. Yeah. Maybe hope that I choke them on mana. So this almost certainly gets countered. And then I Sanctum Prelate on 1. That's incredibly strong. Not unbeatable. Like, Goblin Welder can still, like, maybe get one into play, but could buy me an absurd amount of time. It also shuts off future blasts. I'm not going to attack yet. I have like a braids and such to worry about. I think I play a Flicker Wish this turn in hopes of drawing another land to deploy both of these in the same turn cycle. It's awkward if my opponent draws Goblin Engineer, though. That's the card that punishes this line. And I was thinking about bluffing Source of Plowshares here, but not true because of Sanctum Prelate. So I should have just taken the one counter off the Karn. I'm going to grab water while my opponent thinks. Okay, I'm sure you have all had time to soak in the fact that Goblin Engineer is the out to this situation that allows them to get the Grindstone into play. So I'll have to revoke this now. Or I guess it gets weldered in. Frustrating. It also just means I lose immediately, right? Like, they just weld Astrolabe for this 3 activate. Yeah, I guess if I realized it was an immediate loss, I should have played around that last turn. Alright, that's on me. I didn't think it was an immediate loss. I thought I had one more turn. Oh, they played City of Traders. That's why I thought I had another turn. Okay, so that was just, like, the 2 cards that made this work. Alright. That is what it is. GG. Like 50 pity points there. I wonder if what I did was a mistake. Like, am I supposed to play around Soul Land plus Goblin Engineer? So on my turn, well, I guess the soul, like, if they have the Soul Land, then playing Leon and Arbiter means they can still search anyway, right? So they still get it into the graveyard. So if I play Arbiter on that turn, they still get it into the graveyard and get it into play. Then on my turn, I revoke it. And I'm still alive, but they still have everything. Or maybe better, I like play Revoker on Grindstone on that first turn. I don't know. Like, I wanted to start attacking and like putting some amount of pressure on their life total, because if I draw that game on too long, just like Goblin Welder plus Astrolabe, like something as small as that, grinding value while no one is attacking, and make enough of a difference in the long-term results of the match that it matters. Maybe taking one more turn of setup was fine. but getting that first Wisp into play so that I put my opponent on like a 5 or 6 turn clock, less if I end up playing the second Flicker Wisp, which the second Flicker Wisp ends up being disruptive as well. Yep, it's an interesting spot in that last game. Overall, like all of the deck lists that I'm playing, this doesn't feel competitive. Like I didn't necessarily feel like I had the better deck in most of these rounds. The first 2 matchups against lands felt pretty abysmal. Against the combo decks, like they either beat Deafening Silence or they didn't. Like that's all there is to it. Thalia Heretic Cathar doesn't feel amazing without extra acceleration. It's much better in the White Eldrazi deck than here. Um, is this better than traditional D&T? Maybe. I didn't miss the Stoneforge package the entire league, but I didn't play against Delver, which is where I would have wanted that. Hard to say. Like I just haven't been happy with any D&T deck lists that I've played in about 3 months. I've never just felt like this is better than what I could be doing playing other decks. Um, like even with 4 Revokers, we still had trouble with Planeswalkers in this last match because we don't have great things to pressure our opponent's Planeswalkers. We're missing out on like the game 1 generic beaters like Mirren Crusader that crash in really hard, missing out on the equipment to like really pivot and close out games quickly. Like as far as D&T deck lists go, like this is not bad, but while it wasn't a problem in this league, this list like very much has an X1 problem. Like there's 18 here. Like we have the extra Revoker, we have 2 extra X1s and Remorseful Clerics in these slots. And unlike other builds, you don't have like recruiters to get you a non-X1 creature if that's something that matters. The Palace Jailer feels kind of weird without the ability to tutor for it. Is kind of my final verdict on this. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next week.